Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Today we're going to go over the differences between a generic male eye and a generic female eye. There are variations to everything, so don't take everything in stone. These are just some key points that most comic artists, most game artists kind of do to differentiate eye type, and that's it. But we're just going to go over the key differences between them. Like I said, take it as you will, and you're going to learn a lot. So stick around till the end of the video and I'll make an announcement. I'm going to be using this pen right here. This is a straight up ballpoint pen, mostly to teach it that way. And it has my brand on it. Haha. These are not for sale or anything like that. I just thought they're, I made them for myself because I thought they were kind of cool. All right, let's get going. So really quick, there is a whole eye video for this, so I'm just going to zoom through that in terms of just drawing an eye. There are, if you were to put, let's say these are two eyes right here. If you were to simplify them down, there is a peak toward the center on the top. There's a general peak. It kind of looks like a diamond shape usually. And that peak is toward the top. And then there's a peak toward the outside bottom. That's a general rule if you were to simplify the eye. So that being said, we're going to take one eye on each. I'm going to take one eye on this side. I'm going to start drawing on this side, then drawing on this side. So right here, let's go over a generic eye. So I always start with, not always, but I'll generally, when I'm drawing like a single eye, I'll start with a ball shape right here. I drew a very light ball shape because the ball is within your eye socket. That's something that you do have to keep in mind because a lot of people don't do that at all. And what that does is it leads to kind of a flat, stiff looking eye. So it's weird. You don't have to show that eyeball, of course not, but when you know that's back there, you'll find that your lines are like curving more. They're kind of wrapping around the eye. That you'll just knowing that, it will almost, I wouldn't say subconsciously, but it kind of does subconsciously affect how you draw in these small little ways. I'm gonna draw the eyelid above, which is just the same thing. See, the ball kind of peeks through, and then I'm kind of shrinking it a little bit. And the tear duct, which is a tiny, tiny little ball. Toward the center of that. Bottom eyelid has a little bit of a peak down here. And when I say peak, I mean that not in a robotic sense. This is just a simplification kind of form for the eye. You, in fact, have like an organic curve over here because we are essentially soft and squishy, right? But you do have like these little curves within bone and things like that. Just think of it as an organic curve. And I might actually go over that as well. I don't know if I have a video on just kind of doing that because I do sense that's a disconnect with people when some people draw like this. I know for me it was too. When I would see this stuff in instruction books, I'm like, what does that mean? What? So down here, lower lid kind of also wraps around. And I will draw the iris and the pupil. General thing, I know we're not supposed to go over this, but I'm going to go over generally in terms of how big the iris is. The iris should generally fill, so let's just say this is the eyeball over here. The iris should be 1/3 of that. Generally. Because then I have people going like, what? Oh my god, this. Like people comment these really weird comments. But generally it should fill that. And then the pupil inside of that should be about 1/3 of the iris. Alrighty, cool. Let's draw a highlight over here. If we're gonna shade it real fast in our kind of not so, we don't have to full-blown shade it or anything like that. Maybe I will do that in a second, but probably not. So the iris is where the color is. I'm gonna put like a little bit of there's this indentation over here from the eye because it's inside of an eye socket. If it's within an eye, like I said, this is on a face. There will be a little bit of an indentation, kind of like a concave area for a lot of people within that eye where it's fitting into the eye socket. So I do kind of like putting that right there usually, like where the brow kind of goes into the eye. Dang, I'm moving this thing and like I don't know why my desk is moving as I do this. How was your guys' weekend? Pretty good? Pretty chill? Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to mention time on a lot of these because it kind of dates the video, but I don't know. I like it. Alright, so there's our quick section of the eye here. You can even throw like a bottom lid. To what extent is up to you. You can even throw, if you really want to go super hard, it has a little bit of a lip there, the eyelid, and the same thing with the above eyelid too. It will have a thickness to it. But you don't have to do that. So this isn't about rendering or anything like that, so we just want to make this clear. This is a generic eye. Generic eye. Now, for our purposes, we're going to call it a male eye. Females tend to have pretty much the exact same thing. Again, you're doing shorthand within comics, so a lot of it has to do with, makeup. Makeup has a lot to do with that, and that does influence the way like females in comics look, females in everything, right? They like wearing, it's like culturally, at least in the U.S., it's like a big thing to wear makeup. So what that usually looks like is the kind of, by the way, right here, I didn't really draw the eyelashes. I say this in other videos, but I had heard many times that I think generally speaking, men have thicker eyelashes than women. Which I know is kind of unfair because guys don't really care. I know girls care about that, guys don't care at all. But girls, you don't put on makeup and you do all kinds of stuff to the eyelashes or put fake eyelashes, but that influences that look, and it does have an extremely cool look to it. So I'm still thinking about the ball of the eye here. I put that very lightly, the ball of the eye. I'm still thinking about that. But the eye would be a little bit, first off, right off the bat, when I start drawing female eyes, I usually even start sometimes with that line of the eyelash. And I'm still thinking about the roundness of the eyeball, but then I also have a flare up at the end over here, right? The eyelashes are thicker and fuller. And again, to what degree is kind of up to you. It's up to your style. I can draw full-blown hard. Oh, I would say this. When you're drawing eyelashes, unless you're zoomed in, if you're zoomed in and you're doing a photorealistic, kind of thing, maybe like a portrait where you're right up in their face, then draw every single eyelash. But if you are doing like a comic or anything where you can see their whole body, it's going to be too small in scale, so you have to think about that as kind of one shape. Usually it's just a thicker line if it's a small head that you're drawing. I'm doing this right now because I chose pen, which I'm now regretting, and so now I have to fill in this dark shape here because we're zoomed into the eye. But no matter what though, you are thinking about it as a large kind of form. I've been drawing a lot of these lately because I'm trying to get better. One of my goals, and I've said this many times on here, and I'm doing it still, on and off, getting better at drawing females in general. For me, I've always been pretty good at it, but now I want to get really, really good at it. I want to like upgrade my skill level. I'm still learning along with everybody else, and learning never really stops for anyone. Ask anybody in any profession of art, and I mean, they're usually practicing the basics, or some. Don't get me wrong, some people are definitely like delusional, but everybody in general is practicing some craft of theirs. You know, they're always getting better at different things. You want to be well-rounded as an artist. If art's your life, you want to be well-rounded. All right, so I'm connecting that down, and there's also a little bit of a slant in the axis. So if I was to draw, let's say again, let's take our little diagram. Axis, meaning one eyelid is over here, one eyelid is over here on a guy. Generally, on a generic man, whatever, I would draw just straight across, and that's it. For a woman, I would angle it up a little bit. The axis would angle up from tear duct to where I want the eye to kind of flare out, to where I want like the supposed eyelid to be. It will kind of angle. It's another thing. And again, that's general. Doesn't have to be, you know, not everyone adheres to this. These are not rules, guys. These are tips. You know, these are tips and principles. So don't freak out in the comments. Let me put that eyelid in real quick. It's our eyelid, iris. Same thing. But it already has a different look. Just that kind of eyelash shape gives it a different look as well. Right now, is there anything off the top of you guys' head? I'll ask this. Is there something you want me to go over on this channel very specifically? I will make a whole video on it. As long as it doesn't have to do with stuff I'm doing, you know, on the side. For example, right now I'm doing an ebook. I'm creating an ebook on hands, entirely on hands. I want there to be like an end-all be-all kind of ebook based on like everything I've heard, and because that seems like such a thing that people have a hard time with. There you go. Anyways, I'm gonna leave that in, by the way. I'm gonna leave that in. So there you go. So anyways, let's go back to this. Anybody have Alexa? She's kind of crazy. All right. Another thing you can do is with the eyelids right here. I'm gonna be putting them in. There tends to be darker shadow above it on the brow line because of eyeshadow. But we're not gonna put too much of that in there. Alrighty. And I still even have like a lot of the pits of the eye, like I talked about, where it rolls into the eye socket. But those are kind of it. Those are the general rules. Throw on a thick essentially throw on thick eyelashes, and like I said, these can vary like crazy, and they do. Look at people who draw pinups. They draw it very differently from each other. Sometimes you'll see like a solid shape. Sometimes you'll see a little bit more fray. Sometimes you'll see lower eyelashes. Sometimes you won't. I don't personally like the lower eyelashes look. Sometimes it looks really cool. Sometimes I think it looks like tarantula eye, right? So, see, I'll throw a couple on there. You can throw just really small ones. There's variations, but those are the key differences. I really hope that was informative. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the very next video and I'll try to disconnect Alexa. Talk to you guys soon. And yeah, hit me up. If you did like this kind of content, hit the like button, and talk to you next time.